Okay, so welcome to our series of live instructional webinars designed to support MemoryBook Online Yearbook Program. Our goals for today will be to introduce participants to the functions of the program associated with the beginning stages of yearbook creation. So specifically, we will be reviewing logging into the program, familiarization with the welcome screen and the page ladder, how to add fonts to your collection, setting up your photo share account, and also bringing in the previous year's information into, like layouts and that into your current yearbook. And then leading into the next kind of installments, the importance of sending in your class photo CDs if you haven't done that already. This is approximately going to take about 20 to 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Um, so where I am at right now, I'm just on the login page, or not login page, but the home page of memorybook.com, just our company webpage here. There's a couple different places that we can, or different ways that we can get to the MemoryBook Online program. The easiest is this: if you're here on our home page, up at the top here, there is a link for MemoryBook Online. Just click on that. That'll bring you here. Um, Once you have this login page up, while you're working on it throughout the season, you might just go, depending on what browser you use, you may just want to add that to your bookmarks bar or to your favorites. That way you can easily get to it. Another easy way, if it's some of your material that has gone to you, or a way just to easily get to this page, is going to memoryebooks.com. So it's kind of like our memorybook.com, but in the middle, you're going to add an E, and on the end, you're going to add an S. So memoryebooks.com will get you here too. So right off the bat on the login screen, you're going to use the information that was sent out to you by your customer service rep. And when you get that information, you're giving two logins. You're giving your default advisor login and your default staff login. You'll go ahead and put in your job number. You'll put in the username. Now, you start with the two default logins. But for advisors will be able to add more logins to the program, and we'll show that here in just a second. That way you have multiple people on the account. When you get to doing your own logins, then whoever the user is will put in that username that was given to them by the advisor. But I'm going in like an advisor now, so I'm just going to use the advisor password or advisor username, and then I'm going to put in password here. Now before I get to log in, down below the Let's Go button where you get logged in here, you'll have a Forgot Your Password link. We're going to come back to that just a second here. But I just wanted to point this out. If anyone has any trouble, there's a Forgot Your Password link, and it's going to go to the email address that's on file for that login. We'll get back to that in a moment once we go over setting up staff logins there. So I got all my information in. I'm going to hit Let's Go. And this is going to bring us into the program. And when we get right into the login screen, we are here on what we call the dashboard. They're here, and it has the different modules that are here. To kind of just quickly go over those, there is a countdown module, and this is just a countdown for when your book needs to be submitted. Total pages, this is kind of your pages at whatever the status is of those, just a quick glance of them. So red is not started. Anything that you see in yellow is going to be in progress. Green is completed, and black is submitted. There's an upcoming events. This is kind of dates that are put in by your sales rep. We're already past the cover choice, but if you still need to get your cover in, go ahead, speak with your rep, get your cover in. If you're just someone that's just getting signed on with us, this month. Portrait CD, the December 30th, that's kind of a loose date on that. But as far as getting your class photos in, just whenever you do get those photos, it's a link or some kind of download. Make sure to get that sent over to your sales rep, and they can get that into production. And then kind of book submission dates. It's here. Over to the next to that is the task module. This is tasks is something that if I go into this here, tasks is setting up like tasks or certain things that need to be done within the yearbook. If you're the only one working on the book and you like to say super organized and keep notes on what you need to do, definitely come in here and set some up. This is great for also good if you have a yearbook class and you need to assign different things to the students that are helping put together the book. So if I go just to add one of these, there's a little plus symbol here. If I click on that, I'll get a name, and this is the name of the task of, build certain pages or, um, you know, uh, change formatting on page 13, just whatever those need to be. You can leave it undefined. So if it's just a task for you, you can leave it undersigned. If this is a task that you need that to go to one of the students, then once you get your staff logins set up, you'll have those. So you can assign that to a particular student, give it a date later on, and hit add, and that will add your task here. So really kind of handy. Just if you're one that really likes to keep things on track, needs something kind of digitally to go through there. I just wanted to point that out. Anytime that you leave the dashboard, or if you want to get back to the dashboard when you're in a place like this, you can go up here and hit either the logo or you can hit home. That'll bring you back. And the last two modules here are tagged images and images, and this is going to show you what's kind of been uploaded and kind of how many amount that you have in the library. And tagged images is just going to how many of your own images do you have names tagged to them to kind of help with certain features. When it comes to tagging, tagging is not mandatory on your candid and activity images, but if you're setting up things like the coverage report or I mean an index float, or you want to kind of or if you want to do an index in the book and you want to keep track where they're at, where those students are within the book, then definitely tag images. So that's just kind of here the dashboard, just a few little modules. Now where we'll go from here, and the main navigation that we'll be under today is under the plan menu. It's just kind of getting started with things. So I'm going to go under plan. And the first thing, I'm going to skip the page ladder for the moment, and I'm going to go right to staff. And this under staff, this is where the advisor can go to set up their staff logins. Now, when difference in permissions, if you ever are in the program, if you're in as an advisor, you will see all of these options that are here. If you are logged in as a staff member, you will only see page ladder. All right, so I'm going to go under staff. And like I said earlier, your account starts with one default advisor login and one default staff login. Now from that, when it comes to that default staff login, you might always just kind of keep that here and just use it as a backup if it's ever needed. If you get students coming in, or maybe you have a co-chair that you're working, maybe you're two PTO volunteers or co-chairs on this. So let me show you how you would get those extra logins in here. Up in the top corner, you're just going to go to add staff that is here. So once we're in this screen, you'll put in the person's first and last name. Now the username is something that has to be completely unique from all the other usernames. So you can't reuse advisor, you can't reuse staff. You can do things like staff 1, staff 2, or that. A lot of times we do see it where it's maybe the person's first initial and then the last name, or the other way around, first name, last initial, first name, some kind of combination of that. And then for the password, we put something in here. Let me put that in here just to get. So for your passwords, there needs to be a minimum of 10 characters. You'll need a lower and an uppercase letter and a number. Doesn't say anything about special characters and that, like an at symbol or exclamation mark, but you can use those as well. So when setting up your logins, if you have a big group of students that are helping you on the yearbook, or maybe you have 4 or 5 or that, or maybe you have 10 or 12. When you are setting up, all of them will have to have a unique username, but you would be able to use the same password for all of them, and that so to make that part easier for yourself going through. And then we get to the email spot. Now this email spot here is optional, but the email address that goes into this spot is the email address that works with the forgot your password link on the login screen. Now, oftentimes, many students do not have their own email address, or they do not have a school email address. So what we kind of suggest in this case for certain teachers is, if you want to help the students with resetting their password or that, put your email address in here, because that way when they do that forgot password link, it is you, the teacher, that would then be getting that request to reset their password. So just an idea on that if students don't have one. So after we get to all this top information, and then the last thing to do is to select a role. So within the roles, we have advisor. You're going to assess your all level, all access permission. That's your top permission there. Business manager is not included in our program. It is something that came over and we couldn't get cleared out, but we're still working on that. But this is not a usable role in our program at the moment. There is editor. Editor is like a staff login. It's got lower permissions, but let's just say it's like editor is staff plus. Basically it's a staff login with just a few extra privileges there that they can help with. This editor login would be like you'd give it to if you had a big yearbook group, that 1 or 2 trusted students that really get it, really understand it, and can help the rest of the class there. And then there's staff. It's the lowest permission there, but it's still really handy. A lot of people can do a lot. We've had certain advisors accidentally use the staff login to build a whole book for the year. But staff is, even though it's the lowest permission, you're able to access the page ladder. You're able to help upload images in the library and organize them. And then you're able to add templates to the pages and build your pages how you guys want them. So so definitely, if you're with a yearbook class, set a lot of people up here. If you are co-chairs, let's say that's you and another PTO volunteer that's kind of taking over, you want to have both the same access. What you would do is the first advisor would just come into the staff area, set up another login, and just give it the role advisor, and that way you would both then have the same level of access. There we go. All right, so that is logins here, just under the create menu. And now that we have those set up, now we can go under plan, and we're going to go to the page ladder, and we can show you everything that we can do in here. All right, so on the page ladder is a breakdown of your pages. As you start to, you'll come in this area. It's your planning and organizational tool. So this is where you're going to add like the sections, topics, and assign staff to your pages. If you click on a page here in the page ladder, it's going to take you directly to that page in the designer. But if you're in the designer and you want to get to another page, you don't necessarily have to go back to the page ladder. You can just go to the pages button here while you're in the designer to go to another page. Just and that's just I just want to mention that because some people I'll see helping them, they will be on a page and they'll want to go out and be like, well, I now want to go to this page. Well, we'll see them go all the way out to back to the page ladder and get it, which is fine. Um, so yeah, we're planning organization in this area. Now, a little bit of the status colors that you see, going back to what you saw, so anything you see at the bottom here, it's in progress. Red is not started. I'm going to complete this page here just to show you what a completed page looks like, and that's where that status goes green. I'm going to hold off from hitting submit because then I have to do a lot of things to get that page unsubmitted, but that final color here will be black in there. I just wanted to show you that completed status color so we see all those. Now, coming in from the next thing we'll go over is loading your content from the previous year. So if you are if you're a brand new customer to MemoryBook this year, then you will not have this button up here. So there's no previous content to load in from. But if you are a returning MemoryBook customer, and let's say that you would like to basically want to get a head start, you want to use basically the same last layout as the previous year, but make some minor changes here and there, then we definitely recommend doing the start with last year. So I'm going to click on start with last year. So it's going to bring up what it does is these 3 check marks. It's going to copy page designs from the previous year to all not started pages. So let me cancel this for a second. So anything that's in progress here, what is on the in progress pages, if you have a page like this already, it will honor what is on the page and will not load the template. So I just wanted to put that out there real quick. If you had sections and topics, which some of this was kind of new just in the very tail end of our program last year. So if you got sections and topics, those will come over and fill in the pages. And I'm going to hit continue. Now, once I hit continue, what it's going to do, it's going to take the layout or the designs from last year's pages. It's going to bring them in and load them into the not started pages. Now, the design that carries forward is just the template. So when it's coming over, the photos are taken out of it and text is reverted back to kind of like just a filler type. So there's text here. It's just a filler type that you can then, once you're back into that page, you know, type, exactly, what you want in there. There. But yeah, it's very, very handy. It's a time saver for those that are, wanting to basically use the same look coming through. Now, when you load these, load your designs from the previous year. Now, while it says this is not an action that cannot be undone, that doesn't mean that you are stuck with what is on the page. So when it gets what's basically saying it doesn't have the function to you've loaded the templates, now there's no function to pull them all back out. But none of this is set in stone. You would be able to still go onto the page, drop in a new template, or do a select all and just delete it from there. So the next thing I'll show you is then how to start doing sections and topics. This is just the organizational. The main sections are like your big section of the book. Do you do these class pages, canon pages, sport pages, admin pages, stuff like that. I'm going to go under sections here. I think I've added just kind of a few that are here, like my section or that. There's school events. If you put a cursor in here and start to type, you will start to get options like automatic options that kind of pull up. If I just backspace, I'll get to see all of what is here. So the things like academics and clubs and organizations, summer, fall, winter, title pages, table of contents. These are all different sections here. Now to apply a section, actually, I want to add that one table of contents. I'm gonna hit the plus here, so I'm gonna add it to my sections. And once I get that, to apply a section, just drag and drop it over to the page. And you'll see that it'll take on a little section marker up at the top here. Now, if you have accidentally, put one in, let's say you grabbed the wrong one while you're dragging it over, there is a drop down here to where you can then quickly just change it up to one of the other sections that you have. Okay, so that's sections. Now, the other part of this is topics. Topics is where you're breaking those sections down into even smaller groups. So where it may be your faculty pages, maybe that's one's a candid page or something like that. There's smart topics and there's my topics. These are topics that you have added specifically here, by finding them, by typing in. It's just the same here. Backspace out. There are tons and tons of topics here. But if you're not finding one specifically that you want, like, or maybe there is, it's oh, there is Red Ribbon Week's in there, so that's there. If you find something you like, you just hit plus, it'll add it in. There's also a whole bunch of smart topics based on different stuff. If you want to preview them that way, different things you can put in topics wise. Sports, you can bring those down to 7th, 8th grade, 9th, all bunch of different sports stuff that is here. Lots of sports topics that you could use here. If you see anything that you like, you just grab that topic, and that is added. Once you click on something, it's then going to add to. There it is, 7th grade girls basketball. That's the one I marked. Now, applying sections and topics, it's the same thing. It's just dragging over to the page that you want it to be. I added one too many. So if you add multiple topics, if you add more than 2, it'll kind of put them in a little collapse box, but you can add as many there. But it's going to show you that your candidates, clubs, and all your different little things are up here. So that's topics. That's just to help you keep, break those down. And here is staff. So when it comes to assigning pages, if you are the lone person on the account or it's you and your co-chair, it's up to you if you want to assign pages or not. But when it comes to a lot of yearbook classes with students, a lot of advisors will go ahead and start assigning pages. Now, the staff comes off based off the logins that you created. So if you then have all your students created, you can then go through and start assigning them to pages. And you're just going to drag and drop that person or drag and drop that login over top the page here. And now we've got this student assigned to this page. And we have 2 other students assigned to this page. Now, ideally, and this is just kind of a tip when working on pages there, ideally when working on your pages and on a group, you'll only really want one student assigned to a 2-page spread. In the event that maybe that's not possible, or maybe you have enough students to where one student has to take left, one student has to take right, there is one thing that we would like to point out to you to do, and that's just to and the fix here will keep you from having a lot of save issues. So in the event that you've got different, the same person's not assigned to the spread, when these staff go to work on these 2 pages, and I'm going to go into the page right now, they can't work on it both when it's in the spread at the same time. So what you would have them do is if one student's assigned to the left, one student's assigned to the right, you will have both students go up and go to the view menu and do single page. And that's just to, Now it's a single page. Any changes on this side does not affect the changes happening on the other side when it's in single mode as well. So I just wanted to put that out there. Definitely, and like I said, if you have the same person assigned to the spread, that's great. There'll be no issue there. But just if you have the two, different assignment, definitely have both of those staff go to a single page view, and that will resolve or keep you from having any saving issues there. Okay, so we'll go through here. Let's see. Gone through assigning staff. We have filters that are here that you go through if you're assigning or doing the filters. This will let you go through, if you want to look at just certain staffs, who's working on these pages. So I picked that one. Who's working on this? It's a page here. And this staff person, Jonas, has these 2 pages. So it's just a quick way to see who's assigned what. Page type, if it's in color or black and white. The status, maybe you need to see which pages that you still have in progress. Like when it comes to the early, to the end of the book, do I have anything I'm still working on? If you have any locked pages or that, you find those out that. But definitely filters here to kind of sort through your pages. If you need to do a proof of your pages, like someone for review, like if a principal or another thing is, hey, can you review this for me? Or hey, can I get a page out of the book to review? Couple different ways to go about that. On the ladder here above each page is a little printer icon to where if you click on that, it'll generate a PDF proof then that you can print out or download an email. If you want to save some paper, download it and email it to whoever's reviewing it. You'll get that PDF. Now, later in the process, if you're looking to do a full book proof, like everybody's got that in, you'll go under the print drop down and do print all. So just kind of something about the ladder there and that. Moving on from the page ladder, if we go under plan, we're going to have fonts. So this is where you're going to go and add fonts, the different fonts to your collection here. You start with 2, which is this AYT Foundation Roman and AYT Foundation Sans. Now, one thing that we do with these default fonts, one thing that we do ask of you is to not turn these off. There are things in the program here that kind of work with these 2 fonts here, and it's called styles. To show you what I'm talking about, I'll go under create here. Actually, if I go under plan, there's a spot for styles. So you see that there's some styles here: body, copy, caption, headline, and that. But what are these styles? What does this mean? Well, if I go under the create menu and I go to new page designer, I'm going to go down to the text tab. And here are those styles again. Now, what styles are, I'm just going to take this out here real quick. A style is just a pre-made text box. So it comes over in whatever that size and style of font is. That's all it is. It's just a style is a particular, coming over. Now, there's certain ones like body copy. That's a Foundation Roman. Caption is your Foundation Sans. Subheadline is Foundation Sans. Tag headline is Foundation Sans. So what happens is if you turn those fonts off, you will lose all. It'll basically delete these because they all are part of that font. So just wanted to point that out there on when you're adding your fonts. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave. Just make sure to leave these 2 turned on, and that way you'll still have your pre-made text boxes when you go to, if you need to add extra text boxes to pages. when you're coming in here, there is a type drop down where you can then, if you want to just sort those better, you got script fonts and your serif body, serif, sans serif. That's good for your body copy text, some headlines. Decorative is good for um, like a lot of your candid activity pages that are there. Now, when you're in the fonts area, if you click on a font, it then displays it over to the right so that you can see what see what it looks like. Let's give you a few different styles to kind of see how it will look. One thing about the fonts though is when you go to activate it, I'll pick this ampersand stencil real quick, just a regular ampersand. When you go to hit activate, what it does is it does it really quick, and it makes it to where you may not seem like you've activated it. Once you hit active, or once you turn a font active, it immediately shoots to the top of the list here very quickly. So I just wanted to point that out because inadvertently you could be sitting there clicking and be like, well, why aren't these fonts activating? They are. They're just going to the very top of the list very quickly there. So, in a small amount of time, you can activate 15, 20 fonts without realizing it. So once you hit active, just want to point that out, it jumps right up here. So anytime you just want to make sure, like, did I get that? Once I hit that, it's like, where did that go? Did I just do that? Just kind of scroll up to the top and you're like, okay, there it is. And then you don't have to worry about um, turning on too many fonts that you don't need or that you don't want to use in the book. Lastly, under here, if I go down, so that's fonts. That's just you start to and add as many as you need there. Last place we'll go over is photo share. Now, what photo share is, this photo share is a connected site to our program. It's brand new to the program, to Memory Book Online this year. It's what's replacing ReplayIt here, which is just an older version of a photo sharing site. Now, a photo share, the setup when you come in here is pretty easy. Basically, it's a connected site that just allows your school community to contribute images to the yearbook without giving them access to the yearbook. When you come in here, you're going to see a school asset spot. This is something that is in the works for future seasons. So we're still kind of working that. So right now, it's just kind of got the basics there. If we come down, we're going to see that we have content and preferences. On mine, I'm going to go ahead and I'm not sure if these are already kind of turned on some of yours when you first get in here, but really, I'm going to go ahead and just turn on school life. So I'm going to hit this little toggle. And we got the school life. So this is going to collect photos from activities, events, sports, and more. And you're going to set an end date for this. Usually we recommend putting an end date about maybe a week before your book is due. And that way it gives you time to kind of review any of the last submissions to see if you want to include them in the book. Down here, there's photo guidelines. We have some default guidelines that are in here, but you can put your own guidelines in here, or if you're looking for certain things, or if you're doing or what I have seen some people do is they kind of turn this on and off during the thing. Like they'll flip it on when they're like, depending on their sports seasons or when they're collecting certain things. So they may put something when uploading blah, blah, blah pics, please use these tags. And that just helps the advisor with, kind of sorting them there. But once if you got your data in, once you hit your phone, if you decide to leave these the way they are or adjust them, once you're done with this part, you can also set up portraits if you want to. It's just an optional inbox that comes in with this. It's usually meant for like graduate photos or baby pictures. So it's got the same, you can set a separate end date on it. So you can allow quotes, activities, and that, and it's got the same kind of guideline spot that you could do down here. Oh, that's 2025. I'll leave it there. Okay. So once you have your your content, your dates in, your guidelines met, to go ahead and activate the site, just go ahead and hit publish site. And you have just made your site live. And from here, you can copy this link. You can send this link out in text, in email, or you can post it to your school website. If you have school newsletters, you could put that in there. The only place that we recommend not putting either the code or the QR code here, because you get a QR code, you can do too. You can download the QR code, make up your own flyers. The only thing that we don't suggest, the one place that we don't suggest putting these is Facebook, whether it's the link or whether it's the code. Something within Facebook's system, um, they alter our links, making them just inactive. It'll take someone to the login screen of these places that's asked for a user ID, um, which there's not a user ID here except for that little part at the end. So everybody, like I said, email, text, newsletters, school website, great places to post this, even make your own flyer of the QR code, have those up around the school. That's great. Uh, just avoid Facebook because Facebook, just like I said, alters that link, making it invalid, and it just won't take your parents or your school community to your upload page. But definitely wanted to put that out there to address that. All right. The only other thing I had from here is if you if you haven't done so already, um, leading into the next installment, we'll be doing working with portraits. So if you're still needing to get your class photos to us, definitely get those in. If you get a link from your photographer, definitely get that link forwarded on to your sales rep. Also, there other ways that we have those coming in. They may send you instructions on how to send those out to our FTP site, or if you have Google Drive or Dropbox, we have ways to use those for sharing your class photos to us. So whichever works best for you in that, might just discuss that with your rep, and then we'll get you the appropriate information for you to get those files to us. But other than that, it's just kind of what we do and why we ask for the class photos to come in. Um, is just we have a upload tool here that uses the index file that comes with those. So there's an index that it's a spreadsheet that has all the information of what the file name is, what the student name is supposed to be put with that photo, and then the folder information where it needs to go into. So that's all set up in the photographer's index. We'll take that, upload it. That's photos and names coming into the program at the same time in just a matter of minutes. The reason why this is beneficial to send in is it's pretty daunting and tedious to upload your own class photos and then tag a name to each and every single one of them. While this, we've seen small private schools, small church schools be able to do this. They'll upload, maybe they have between 50 to 150 students, real small student body. A lot of those, that's not, I mean, a lot of times that's a little bit tedious work, but that's something that could be knocked out in a few hours. Whereas if you're someone that is dealing with a middle school in which there is, you know, 3 to 500 sixth graders, and then the same for seventh and eighth, there is no way that you want to take that upon yourself. So definitely, if you get something like that, send those in. We'll take care of that for you and get those uploaded by how you want those sorted. Um, Before we go for the evening in that, if there's any questions that any of you that attended have over this, feel free if you want to unmute yourself and ask anything about the getting started, uh, what we've covered here, um, and then in not this next week, but the week after, we're going to be going into working with portraits, in which we get more into that information. But yeah, if you had any questions, now would be the time to get those in. Hopefully, hopefully I did a pretty good job explaining everything, but yeah, if you have anything, please let me know.
Hi, I have something. So I missed the first half of this because we didn't get out of school until about 3:30. So I was wondering if this is going to be sent to us in a recording.
Okay. All right. Look, not seeing anything come through, or I didn't hear if it did. So, hopefully, hopefully, what I did today did a pretty decent job. um, but yeah, if we didn't have any questions, I'm gonna go ahead
Can you
and
hear me?
wrap this up
Sir,
for
can you hear
today.
me?
If you do have a question and I can't hear you, might put it in that chat
Okay.
there in case something's happening and I can't hear folks. Um, but if we're all good, definitely, thank you for joining me today, everybody. Hopefully showing you going through at least the planning stages and the areas. Um, plans, fonts, and image share, creating book. That'll be less of a challenge to avoid some of the pitfalls with any software. So the link for the recording, this will be sent out once we get that posted tomorrow. So it'll be sent out to the email address that you signed up with. So no problem. So hopefully a lot of this and transferring transfer material from their last year's site and sending us your portrait CD. Hopefully that should pay off in some time savings down the road. So feel free, join us in the next couple of weeks as we begin preparing portraits for AutoFlow and build some class pages. So we'll see you then. All right. Thanks again, everybody.